Nearly $90 billion has been wiped off the cryptocurrency market as Bitcoin drops below $30,000 for the first time in July. In our last Bitcoin video, came out just over a week ago, we were talking about an imminent July breakout where Bitcoin could rise as high as $50,000 or fall as low as $24,000. Now that some time has passed, of course, we're looking more bearish than bullish, and I would caution anyone looking to go long at the moment if you are a trader. But I do want to talk to you about the worst case scenarios in this video. I want to talk to you about the falling wedge price pattern and give you my opinions on the cryptocurrency market as a whole and let you know why I'm not so worried about this thing long term. But if it's your first time stopping by, definitely subscribe to the channel now in the lower right portion of your screen to stay updated. Also hit that like button to show support. So what we're going to do here is we're going to drill through a few different time frames, starting with the weekly time frame. So each of these candles represents 1 week's worth of price action. And of course, you could see here at the end of 2020, extremely bullish. 2021 has flipped bearish on us. I don't have the line drawn, but we are in a strong downtrend right now. And so what has happened really since May is we have consolidated a lot. Now, these are a couple bearish weekly closes in a row, 2 bearish weekly closes in a row. This looked like it might have been a hammer. We were going to climb out of it, but now we have fallen, and we'll see what happens here. But what I really want to point out to you, and I will zoom in on this chart, is I want to point out these lows here. And you can see that they are all around the $29,000 mark. And so you can see how this range here where we are trading has been marked as a historical low in multiple times. Now, the lowest was on December 21st of 2020, where we fell to $28,449. That would be the first area of support I would look to see a strong bounce. In my opinion, I do think these markets most likely need to fall a little bit lower before we can begin to really see the price action turn around. What I'm really thinking right now is the market needs to get flushed out because obviously there is some selling that needs to happen at these levels before buyers step in. And you can see here how the weekly closes have gotten lower and lower, okay? Meaning that when we hit these levels, the buyers aren't stepping in and the support is not as strong as it once was, which is one reason why I'm leaning a little bit bearish right now. And of course, I'm sure the whole market is. And what I'd like to do is talk to you about the falling wedge pattern. Now, the falling wedge is identified by 2 downsloping trend lines, the first one being more steep than the second. So these are 2 downtrends. At a first glance, this looks like a very bearish pattern, but there is a possibility for this to break out to the upside as well, and we will go over that in this video. So this is the first time I'm mentioning this pattern on this channel. So I just want to be clear about why I'm very confident that this is the pattern we are seeing. You can see we had an attempt breakout here, but aside from that, you can see how we're really filling this shape beautifully with price action. There's not a lot of black space, right? So it's really been behaving nicely and it's very clear to see. So that's one of the first things I look for when we talk about patterns. The other thing I want to talk about is that we do have declining volume trend, which is something that we generally see throughout falling wedge. We have multiple touches on the top, multiple touches on the bottom, and this pattern has been going on for more than the 3-week minimum defined in the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns by Thomas Bulkowski. A lot of boxes are checking off here for this to be a falling wedge. So let me zoom out a little bit and we'll talk about basically what will happen coming out of this pattern most likely. Now, basically with the falling wedge, we could go one of 2 directions. This is the type of pattern that could really be bearish or bullish. In a bull market, there is a little bit of a tendency for this to be bullish, but that doesn't mean there's not some more downwards price action. In worst case scenario, we can see this thing grind out till the end of summer here. I know you don't like hearing that, guys, but it is possible that we could grind into August here if we don't fall out of this sooner than later. Now, what we're going to be looking on this daily candle, now we switch to the daily time frame, we want to hold above 28,000, or at least if we fall to it or below it, we want to see it close either today or certainly by tomorrow. We don't want to hang out down here for too long. That would mean the market is showing some weakness. So first I'm going to give you the good news, and then I'll explain the worst case scenario. So the good news, the best case scenario, is breakouts of these patterns to the upside have a tendency to rise back to the top of the pattern, which in this case would take us up to, you can see I have my alert set here, back to about $40,000. In order for that to be validated, we would have to break out above, let's say, $33,000. I'd like to see some volume confirming that, and we may be on our way. But what could also happen is we can fall out of the bottom of this pattern. Now, there's a measured move to the downside, and what I really want to show you, which is kind of fascinating, and it's always interesting to me how charts work out like this. If you take the measured move, basically it's the height of the wedge, which I'm grabbing from over here. If we were to fall today, this would take us right to $24,000 roughly, which is the price level that we have been talking about on this channel for some time. Last video, we talked about the volume profile. I didn't really dive into that deep today, but this volume profile here, we talked about how it's possible and very easily to fall once the price kind of breaks a certain threshold. So, and you can click the link in the top right of the screen to find out more about that. But $24,000 is definitely a real possibility if this falling wedge breaks out to the downside. But in this video, I told you I would give you the worst case scenario. So let's go ahead and do that. If I take a horizontal ray here to my next level of support, this would actually be $19,647 at its peak. So basically, what I'm telling you is that $20,000, which was the previous all-time high dating all the way back to our 2017 highs from the last bull market, it may be possible that Bitcoin could fall that low within the next couple weeks, or even this week if things get ugly. But the stock market is starting to turn back around, so we could grind here and start to climb back into this pattern. You know, anything is possible. I just want to let you guys know the possibilities, and technical analysis can help us with the probabilities of what will happen next. And as I mentioned before, the stock market had a brutal day yesterday, but you can see here as we look at the markets, we are trading higher today. So it's good news that the stock and equities markets of America and worldwide are starting to rebound. Basically, the stock market fell on fears of the Delta variant, which is the variant I'm sure you've heard of, which is related to the coronavirus, right? But the good news about this Delta variant is that if you are vaccinated, you don't really have to worry about it so much. But this is a real threat to those who are unvaccinated. So unlike March of 2020, there is a clear end in sight, and this Delta variant is only as dangerous as the people make it. And I'm not telling you to get vaccinated or to not get vaccinated. Everyone has their own stance on that. But I am saying to you that this is a much different situation than we were in economically at the beginning of the pandemic. And the other thing that's good about the situation, at least for Bitcoin, is that we're really starting to see inflation kick in America. And as prices rise, people may or may not, hopefully they will, wake up to the fact that Bitcoin is a deflationary asset and that the scarcity of it is its value proposition. Let me know in the comment section, do you believe Bitcoin needs to get flushed out to 24K? Do you think Bitcoin will fall to 24K before rising higher? Or do you think we're going to grind it out from here or turn bullish from here? What do you guys think? If you're an analyst or a trader, you let me know, what are you seeing on the charts that I am potentially missing? Also, smash that like button and enjoy the day. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the ride, and I'll see you guys next time.